Crashers, a video series where wedding photographer Anna Behning interviews wedding day professionals in an effort to assist couples in planning their dream weddings. Today with me, I have Ellie Stone Bride Manager and gown assistant Chloe Howe. Hi Chloe, thanks for joining us today. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you serve brides and grooms.
My name is Chloe. I am the store manager here at Ellie Stone Bride. And a little bit about myself, I have been in the wedding industry probably honestly since about 2014. Not professionally like that whole time, but I've done a range of things from helping brides find their dream dress to coordinating weddings, to doing other wedding planning type things. I've been doing it for quite some time. And my job as the store manager, I handle the day of business for our bridal store. And that involves placing orders, helping brides find their dresses, also helping bridesmaids, giving, tidbits of information if we don't have something here, or just like general color palette, info, because some people don't know how to put color palettes together. So I help people out kind of like whole roundabout for their weddings. And joke around with the groom. If he comes in, he doesn't often come in, but every once in a while they pop in.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Tell us a little bit more about Ellie Stone, when it was started, where you're located, and anything else you'd like to add.
Yeah, so Ellie Stone actually is a somewhat newer store. So we've been around for about 2.5 years. We purchased a former store in Sioux Falls called the French Store, which had been around for 40 plus years. So we bought the store, we renamed it, and we moved. So if you have been to Sioux Falls or know where anything is in Sioux Falls, we are over by McNally's, which is a pub here in Sioux Falls. And it's on 69th and Western. So we're in this nice, really pretty cul-de-sac with all this beautiful buildings made out of stone. And so as far as like how our new name came about and everything to do with the new store and everything, our owner, Callie Blackstone, she also owns the Canton Barn out in Canton, obviously. She named the store after her granddaughter, Ellie. And then she took half of her last name, Blackstone. And so we are Ellie Stone. And that's kind of how we came to be. And I started here about almost a year ago, actually. But we've continued to grow and build our media marketing. And we've noticed a lot of people wanting to come and see us. So it's exciting to be a part of, kind of the beginning stages of a business. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to jump right into a few questions that some of our viewers had and a few bride-to-bes. So first question I had, what are the hottest trends you are seeing in the bridal gown industry at the moment?
Yeah, honestly, as far as style, we see a lot of people going towards A-line, which I brought out some dresses to demonstrate because it makes it a little bit easier to see things. So an A-line dress, this one's an A-line right here. So it's form-fitting on the top, and then it has a flowier skirt. So a lot of brides really like that because it's comfortable. They feel like that they can do everything in their wedding day that they need to do and still be able to move and feel comfortable. So this is definitely something big. As far as style, it kind of depends. So in South Dakota, we have a lot of barns for wedding venues. So a lot of people are going for that chic rustic look. So having some lace and sparkle is definitely still big here, but going more bohemian, kind of something you would see in a desert or like a mountaintop. That's why I grabbed this guy, a sheath. This is also a really popular fit. It's something that's form-fitting all the way down, but it's still really easy to move in. But going for that chunkier lace that kind of stands out and makes a statement, that is something that we're really noticing lately. But it always changes. So, honestly, like I can say we have something figured out, and then literally the next day it's completely opposite. So it kind of depends.
totally depends on the bride, I feel like, too. I've seen every
Yeah,
dress under the sun. Someone can be in a bright and really glamorous dress, and the next day it's super simple. So
right,
definitely.
exactly. We're even having people ask us for black gowns, which I never thought would personally like be
Yeah,
a trend, but black is in. So we ordered a couple. We don't have them yet, but they're
very,
coming in eventually. So yeah.
very cool. Awesome. Okay, so kind of jump in right off the bat. How does trends look? How do you find the best fit for your body style?
Yeah. So honestly, there's a lot of research involved with this if you want to get into it. Honestly, the easiest route to figure out what looks best on your body is to try on everything. That kind of sounds like a hassle and a lot of work. But if you are able to go into a bridal store and you have to try on a mermaid, a sheath, an A-line, and a ball gown, because honestly, you might think that you really hate a ball gown and it could like look super awesome on you. So it's like it's really hard for me to say this body type looks really good in this. Just because it really depends how you're structured and every person looks so different in every dress. So that's kind of like the bridal stylist job is to be able to find something that even though if you don't think it would make look good, trust your stylist because they almost always have the expertise to find something that that you'll be comfortable with and really like. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, right, kind of off the script here, I'm going to ask you a question. When I went looking for wedding dresses, I had an idea in my mind of what I wanted. And I walked out of the store with something completely opposite of what I wanted. Do you see that happening a lot? Or do you see that brides usually come in with a great idea of what they want?
Honestly, it depends. Again, so my favorite bride is someone who's completely open, who has no idea, because then it's like, let's figure it out together.
Yep.
But like for you, especially Anna, so we see that a lot that people come in, they have this idea, and I like to throw in wild card dresses. So they grab the stuff that they think they like, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna sneak this in because who knows, like maybe she'll really like it. And then it's almost always like that's the one. But like for me, when I was wedding dress shopping, I did have the idea like I wanted long sleeves, I wanted lace, I wanted a mermaid, and that's what I ended up getting. So it's like it really depends on the person and who you work with. Because honestly, I didn't even pick my dress. My stylist picked my dress too. So
Very cool.
honestly, trust the people because they know what they're doing most of the time, and they know what they have, and you don't. So
For sure.
yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so are we seeing more veils or are we seeing no veils? What is kind of the trend right now?
Yeah. So this is my opinion on this. So I love a veil only because, in my opinion, it's the only day that you can wear a veil without looking crazy. So it's like you might as well just do it. But we're noticing about like 60% of people in South Dakota are doing veils, and then about 40% aren't. But it's definitely worth it to just at least try one on. And here at Ellie Stone, we like to put on all lengths. So there are different lengths for veils, which I could have grabbed some. I didn't think about that. But so there's a fingertip veil. So that goes when you put your arms down, it goes to about where your fingertips naturally lay. Then there's a chapel veil, which hits you, depends on how tall you are, but either your heels or your mid calf. And then the cathedral, which is like the super, super, super long ones, which I'm obsessed with. I love them because they're extra and I'm extra. But it's definitely worth it to try on all of them. But it's not a necessity that, you're going to still look like a bride in a wedding dress if you don't have a veil or
For
not.
sure.
I personally like them. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm on the same boat. It's all veils for me. As a photographer's perspective, the more pictures you can do, the better. And veils just add the extra spice that I love photographing veils. So they're beautiful.
Yes. And with like the South Dakota winds,
Yeah.
like
Oh, I know.
pick them up and it looks beautiful. So it's like, come on, you got to have
Yeah.
that in your pictures.
Yeah, but I totally understand. They're kind of a hassle sometimes, pulling on your hair, or everyone's putting their arms around you, so they keep
Yeah.
pulling
And you're like
down.
this.
Yeah, totally. Okay, moving on. A few more questions here. But how do brides avoid dress doubt after purchasing their dress? I'm experiencing this as well. I bought my dress probably last fall sometime. And
Yeah.
I'm just like inundated because I mean, you know, Facebook is always knowing what you're looking at. So after they knew I'd been looking at dresses, I kept getting ads and I kept seeing everyone else's dresses. And I started being like, oh, is this the right dress for me? So how do you avoid that?
Yeah. So, well, okay. Personal story. I actually got my wedding dress 2 years before I was even engaged.
Oh my God,
Um,
Chloe.
so I had my dress for a really long time. And honestly, for me, and I married the guy, so like I wasn't crazy. I was dating my husband. That's always the question.
Good.
But for me, really like going through my Pinterest because I'm a huge Pinterester. I like to just have vision boards and get all these ideas kind of like out in there and like organize myself. I had to go through my Pinterest and delete every single like wedding dress that I had pinned. Like, because honestly, it's kind of like when you look for your guy, once you get engaged, once you've like found your man, you don't like keep shopping, you
Yep.
can admire, you can be like, yeah, that guy's really cute, but I've got mine. So it's kind of the same thing with dresses where it's like, once you've picked it, you just have to be like, okay, this is it. I'm done shopping, but I can admire other people.
Absolutely.
But really like each person is different. And I I've had brides in the past where they have gone somewhere else and they got their dress a while ago and they're like, I hate it now. And it's like, I think that's the thing with our culture is that we're constantly trying to one up each other and also constantly like we just obviously we want to look the best that we can. But sometimes when it comes to spending thousands of dollars on a dress, you have to be like, okay, I'm done. Like you just have to eventually be like, okay, you're right. Like this is it. Like, and just be happy with it.
For sure, for sure.
I guess. I don't know. That's not a good answer, but
No, I love it. I love your correlation between like a relationship advice and buying a dress. That's
yeah,
perfect. You can keep looking, but you can't keep shopping.
right, exactly. You can
Yeah.
admire from a distance,
So
but
funny.
you're not gonna like pursue it.
I love it. Okay. Let's see. What do we have next? Alterations. When should a bride take their dress in to get altered? How long before their wedding would you recommend to start looking
Yeah.
for
So honestly, it depends on the shop. If the shop has their own alterations department within it, normally they have a schedule that they go by, or if they don't. So like our store, we do have an alterations department, and we like what we tell people. We like to get people in about 2 months before their wedding. Right now, just because with like COVID and having an uber amount of brides this year, we've started doing alterations 3 months before, just so then, because my seamstresses are going to be like so overwhelmed eventually. So we're trying to space them out a little bit more than we normally would. But I would say try and hit for that 2 months before your wedding, because at that point, let's hope you're not trying to lose weight still, that you're kind of where you want to be. And then like it's better to just get it over with, because otherwise you'll just get like again with like wondering about your dress, once you've started to alter it, you're like, okay, I have to stick with it because it's altered now. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, 2 to 3 months. That's what I would say.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Another question. Do you have any ideas on how to incorporate your mom's dress into your wedding day? Even if you purchase another dress, is there a good way to use something from your mom's dress to incorporate into your wedding day?
Yeah. So what I've seen in the past, we don't have a lot of people ask this question. So I was really curious, you know, what my answer would be. I didn't really prepare for this. But so really cool things that you could do that I think you could do is taking like a little piece from either the lining so you don't destroy like the integrity of her dress, because that would be a bummer if you're just cutting off a random piece. But take like part of her lining and then you could sew it underneath like part of your skirt in like a heart shape. That would be really cute. Or even like same kind of idea with the lining. You could do a handkerchief. I know that's not like involved with your actual dress, but then like you're carrying it with you, that you have it with you. Honestly though, a lot of people want new dresses because most moms that I've noticed lately have been getting married in the 80s.
Yep.
And those dresses are crazy with those long sleeves and the puffiness and, all the frills and the bows. But you
Hope
can
those
always see
never come
like,
back in.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We are getting puff sleeves now. That is coming back in.
Oh.
They're not as puffy. They're not like Victorian puffy. But I would say, yeah, pulling something from her dress that you could like sew as like a little memorial type of a thing, kind of like not like the same, but kind of like, I don't know if anyone knows Hailey Bieber, but she did like Till Death Do Us Part on her veil. So you could add like her beading on your veil or on your dress, or just taking little bits and pieces without fully destroying the dress if you're not planning on wearing it.
Yeah, something that I'm doing actually is I'm taking a piece from my mother-in-law's lining and a piece from my mom's lining, and I'm wrapping it around my bouquet where I'm holding my bouquet. So it's kind of like the handkerchief where I'll be holding it. I'm not destroying their dresses, but it's still a piece that I can take with me down the aisle. So
Yeah, that I would do that.
yes.
Something like along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I had another question about heavy dresses. And I've noticed this with brides before on their wedding day. They get so exhausted because their dress is so heavy. And especially at the front of a crowd, you can be kind of lightheaded already. What are your recommendations for people that pick out heavy dresses?
Honestly, you just have to prepare yourself for it. There's not like a lot that you can do once it's on you. You hope that at least through alterations that they would be able to tighten the bodice or put some type of boning in your dress if there isn't anything already that can kind of sit on your waistline so it distributes the waist from just your shoulders.
Sure.
But honestly, like if you can take breaks and sit down, I know like on your wedding day during your ceremony, you can't really sit down while like, you're saying your vows and stuff like that. But I would say just make sure that in the alterations department that it gets to sit right around your waist. So then it distributes the weight a little bit better. But yeah, that's a hard thing. And there are a lot of really hard, like heavy dresses. So if you're worried about that, just try to not get a heavy dress, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of the hard part because these materials, this one that I pulled here, this one's like a Mikado satin. So like eventually it'll get heavy,
Yes.
but I don't know. That's a hard question.
No, for sure. Thank you. Okay. And last question. How do you recommend preserving a wedding dress, or what can you do with it afterwards?
Yeah, so you could do the same type of thing, like save it, clean it, preserve it. We use a company through New York. We sent them to New York, super fancy, just because that's what we do, I guess. So we sent them to New York to get professionally cleaned and preserved. So then it has, I think, like 30 to 50 years worth on there, so that it won't yellow, anything like that. That's something that I did with my dress because I'm super, what's the word?
Nostalgia.
Where, yeah, like I would be really sad if for some reason my dress just kind of disappeared.
Yep.
But a lot of really cool things that you can do with it if you don't want to do that. You can take it to a consignment shop and resell it to see if someone else would love to wear your dress. That can be a little bit hard, especially if you've had it altered already. So you'd have to talk with consignment stores. But really cool organizations, I think they're called Angel Dresses. So you can donate your wedding dress to be made into these little dresses for premature babies or babies who were stillborn. So then they have something to wear when they're buried, which sounds like super, super, super sad. But like, that's kind of like, it gives the parents that full circle of, this baby is being taken care of. And even though like every little girl's dream is to get married and, everything, but they're a baby and they just didn't make it, like this can give them kind of a wedding dress without it being a formal wedding dress and help the parents out mentally too. So there is organizations like that, but you'd have to look up for your, local area to see what people do if you didn't want to be sentimental like me and keep your wedding dress forever in a closet. and probably never open the box ever again.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chloe and Ellie
Yeah.
Stone Bride, for joining us today. You have some great insight, and finding your dream dress is just something, there's no other experience like it. And I'm a little jealous, honestly, of your job. So,
It's fun.
yes, I can't imagine how fun it is. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if brides are listening to this and they want to find you, how do they get a hold of you? How do they make an appointment?
Yeah. So if you want to reach me personally and ask me questions, my Instagram is Chloe P. Howe at gmail. Or not, that's my email. Don't email me. It's just Chloe P. Howe at Chloe P. Howe on Instagram. But our Instagram for the store is Ellie Stone Bride. You can either go on our Instagram, our Facebook, our website. It's all the same, Ellie Stone Bride. And then you can either message us directly to book an appointment. You can give me a call to book an appointment. Obviously, the phone has been ringing. So maybe those people wanted to book an appointment, but I'll call them back. And yeah, it's pretty simple. You just basically go on our website or email us, or all of the normal things. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chloe.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course.